Hi guys, so responding to the prompt of this week's discussion, I'm looking this way for my notes. We're going to be applying the just war theory to the Russian-Ukrainian war, and I think it's probably a good idea to look at the two criteria that we're looking at. The first being whether or when is it morally right to go to war, the cause, the intention, the context, and then how or what methods are being used to fight in the war. And starting with the moral reasoning behind why each side went to war, if we look at Russia, something that I've seen or I've noticed from public justifications like press conferences, articles, just all these things coming out of Russia, is since 2022, they've justified it by saying things such as how NATO was expanding and that was threatening them and their borders. There was a genocide against Russian speakers in Ukraine. Ukraine was becoming a Nazi state, just all these different reasonings. However, when we look at some of the facts based on, I'll name my sources at the end, but what we see is that, first of all, NATO is a defensive alliance, so they would not, or they obviously could have, but they didn't attack or kind of infringe on Russia's borders. According to the US Embassy, there's been no evidence of a genocide in Ukraine. And then there are just like a bunch of other things that kind of contribute to the moral failure of Russia's war. And when we look at Ukraine's side, the only reason that I've seen it, for them going to war is in defense of their population and their territory, I guess. So when we compare the two, what we see is Russia's reason for going to war fails the just war theory, and Ukraine's passes, I guess, or succeeds, which lol. Oh, sorry, not lol, but like, yeah. Anyway, no, yeah. And then in terms of violations of how the war is being fought, I think we kind of know where this is going to go in the sense that, like, there are documents of Russia performing, I'm going to quote this one, indiscriminate and disproportionate attacks, I can't read, on civilian areas, torture of civilians, forced deportation of Ukrainian children, etc. And then for Ukraine, some of the violations that they have consist of just intentionally, well, this isn't just a jest because it's like, this is kind of messed up, but they have been seen to intentionally place troops in more highly populated areas such as schools, hospitals, etc. I'm assuming to deter attacks from Russia, but that's not happening. And then there are allegations for abuse of Russian prisoners. So it's just it's not a complex issue. I think the war shouldn't have started in the first place, especially considering like all of what's happening in the world today. I mean, you can apply this same thing to like Gaza with Israel right now, right? Or you could apply it to, what's another one, Sudan. And there are just like so many issues similar to this one, and I think it's a really interesting time for us right now. But anyway, my sources are the Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, the UN, the US Embassy, the Journal of Democracy, and then just other sources, I guess. I can